Chapter 12, Tallon 4, Overgrown. So, Twilight spoke up after every pony got their laughter under control. After your scare with Spike falling into the magma, how'd things go in the caverns?
Pretty well, Samus admitted.
While many of the passages above the lava between chambers were too small for Spike, the magma connected between chambers through much larger tubes that Spike could traverse easily. We spent most of this trip through the caverns seeing what creatures in there Spike could eat. Applejack chuckled. Growing foals always have a huge appetite, she pointed out.
Guess dragons do, too.
They do, Twilight groaned. He was always trying to eat everything in sight back up in Canterlot. You have no idea how hard it was to teach him that books weren't food. Several of the mares chuckled. Spike blushed as he remembered that, then smirked as more of the memory came back. Didn't help when you still chewed on the book corners in your sleep if you fell asleep in bed reading. Twilight's cheeks burned as nearly everyone else laughed.
I was young,
she whimpered defensively. Celestia chuckled indulgently. Twilight, you were 12. Twilight grumbled as she hid her blushing face in her hooves. So, she continued once she got her blushing, and everyone else got their laughter under control, what all did he try to eat?
Samus smiled.
Well, he tried to eat a Grisby, a small armored scavenger, but its armored carapace was built to handle the superheated temperatures of the volcanic chambers it lived in. Spike simply wasn't strong enough to break through it. I heard a tooth trying, Spike grumbled, leading to more titters. Then there were the burrowers, Samus explained. Small insects like beetles that stayed underground, leaping up out of their tunnels to spit some of its digestive acid at potential prey.
Or get eaten, Spike added.
A bit tangy. Felt the need to eat something sweet after a couple of those. Then there were the magmores the caverns had been named for, Samus continued. Fire-breathing lava serpents. A bit spicy for my tastes, Spike explained, but tasty enough. Although you should have known better than to eat the puffers, Samus scolded. Seriously, a fleshy, gas-filled balloon expelling green gas as it floats around in a volcanic chamber strikes you as something good to take a bite out of? Well, it did until the first one exploded in my mouth, Spike complained. Didn't taste very good, either. Left me with a very bad smelling breath, too. Until you breathed fire again, Samus corrected. Which caught the gas trail of the other puffers, causing them to explode internally. Sounds like some pretty awesome fireworks, Rainbow pointed out with a chuckle. But why did breathing fire clear his breath?
Rarity asked.
Sterilization, Samus explained. Dragon fire is hot enough to kill anything lingering in the mouth, including the plaque and germs that cause bad breath. From what I've been told, all that's left is a smoky aftertaste. Every pony turned to stare at Samus and Spike. Just, who told you that? Rarity asked archly, her eyes straying towards Spike. Pretty sure that falls under spoilers, Samus pointed out. We'll get there after the next planet, she chuckled internally as she watched Spike sweat under Rarity's jealous gaze.
So what next then?
Pinkie Pie asked happily. Samus shrugged. Nothing else of real interest in Magmore Caverns, except when Spike climbed a wall to get to the warrior shrine to pick up another Chozo artifact, strength this time. After that, we headed to the Phendrana Drifts.
What's that?
Fluttershy asked eagerly. A snow-filled region, Spike replied. It was incredible. As Samus led the way out of the icy tunnel, she stared around at the white landscape as snow gently fell. She smiled under her mask as the snow crunched beneath her armored boots. Of all the various environments she had been in, she was most fond of snow. It was so quiet and peaceful. Even after a vicious battle for survival, the snow quickly blanketed the world and covered the signs, restoring peace. It was quite calming. After a time, she noticed she didn't hear Spike's footsteps following hers. Confused, she turned behind her to check on him, and found him frozen at the edge of the ice tunnel, staring out at the snow like he'd never seen it before. With a laugh, she realized he hadn't. It's just snow, Samus called out to him. Like ice, only soft and gentle. Scooping up a handful, she lobbed it his way. He leapt out of the way of the shower of powder. What the?" he demanded in confusion, turning to poke at the snow. Slipping, he landed on his back in the snow. He wriggled around for a while before getting to his claws, scooting away. "Never saw a snow angel with a tail before," Samus pointed out, staring at the imprint left in the snow. "Snow angel?" Spike asked in confusion. "Something people make when they go to play in the snow," Samus explained. "They lay on their back and wave their arms and legs around. Apparently, the resulting imprint is supposed to resemble an angel." Spike stared at the imprint for a while. "Can you teach me?" he asked finally. "Teach you what?" Samus asked, confused. "How to play in the snow?" Spike begged. Samus turned to face him. He was looking up at her hopefully, his ear frills hanging downward, his eyes wide and pleading. She sighed. "Spike, we can't just stop here and play in the snow. We need to work on collecting the rest of the artifacts, driving off the pirates, and attacking the source of the Phazon. We can't just stop and play in the snow." Her voice was trailing off because Spike's eyes had begun to water, and his lip was quivering. After a time, she finally sighed. "Alright, fine," she relented. "There aren't any hostiles right here, anyway." She disengaged her arm cannon. As frustrated as she was with the delay, the joy in his eyes when she relented quickly washed away her pique. The look of consternation on his face when she beamed him with a snowball helped, too. The two of them spent a great deal of time playing. First, Samus taught Spike how to make a snowman, rolling the large balls of snow and using rocks blackened with Spike's flame for buttons, eyes, and a smile. She couldn't take him sledding without a sled or a hill, but she taught him to make a proper snow angel and a snowball. They spent at least another hour snowball fighting. Samus' snowballs flew firm and true, catching Spike off guard with every impact. However, with the bulkiness of her power suit, she could only make one at a time. While Spike's snowballs were less well shaped, he was able to use all 4 sets of claws to shape and throw them. "Just wait until I get my ice beam back," Samus growled, imagining longingly the shock on Spike's face when a slight reconfiguration of the ice beam would allow her to pelt him with snowballs from her arm cannon. At that point, however, her eyes widened as Spike sent a large amount of snow straight at her from his spade tail. "Nice one, Spike," Rainbow said eagerly. "Next winter." "Dibs on having Spike on my team for the snowball war," Pinky interrupted. "Damn it, Pinky," Rainbow snapped. Spike and Samus both laughed at their antics, fondly remembering that innocent pleasure.